They said the old man had nothing left, no strength in his bones, no purpose in his fading years, no dreams worth chasing anymore. To the world! He was just another wrinkled face in the crowd. Someone who had lived too long, carrying memories heavier than his footsteps. But what they never knew was that this old man held stories in his heart, stories that could rebuild broken people, lift those who had fallen, and give hope to those who had forgotten hope existed. One winter evening, when a young man's life was collapsing, it was this old man with trembling hands and slow steps who changed everything. This is the story of an old man who walked against time, not to escape his past, but to prove that age doesn't weaken, you giving up does. In a dusty little town lived an old man named Baba Yusuf. Every morning, the townspeople saw him walking slowly with his wooden stick, his back bent, his beard white, and his clothes simple yet clean. People whispered that he was too old and should rest at home. But Baba Yusuf never explained himself. He just walked, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for two, greeting everyone, especially children, with a smile, even when life gave him no reason to smile. What the town didn't know was the weight he carried in his heart, the silent battles he had fought, and the pain he kept hidden. Everything began to change. The morning a young man named Hamza, lost and ready to give up on life, crossed paths with him. That meeting would reshape both their lives forever. Hamza was 24, talented but exhausted by failure. His business attempts failed. His dream of studying abroad was rejected. His friends moved ahead, and his family compared him to everyone but himself. One morning, overwhelmed by life, he walked toward the river to find peace, and there he saw Baba Yusuf staring at the water. The old man gently asked why he looked like someone who had lost everything, and Hamza replied that he truly had. Baba Yusuf smiled and told him that losing everything was sometimes the beginning of building something real. Hamza didn't understand, but when the old man invited him for tea, their unlikely friendship began. Day after day, Hamza spent time with Baba Yusuf by the river, under trees, in the market. Slowly, the old man shared his past. He wasn't always weak or lonely. He had once been a strong laborer, a loving husband, and a father to a little girl named Ayah. But life took everything. His daughter died young, his wife shortly after. He was injured at work, and his home burned down. In just 3 years, everything he loved vanished. When Hamza asked how he survived such loss, the old man replied that he survived by walking one step, then another until those steps became strength. Hamza was stunned. He had always believed strength was physical, but Baba Yusuf showed him a strength far deeper. The old man began teaching Hamza not physical skills, but lessons of the mind. If you can breathe, you can start again. A slow step forward is still progress. When life breaks you, rebuild quietly. People will doubt. You don't join them. Slowly, Hamza began to change. He woke earlier, feared failure less, and started trying again in small ways. The town noticed, but one man, Shabaza, proud shopkeeper, who disrespected elders, felt threatened by the change. One afternoon, Shabazz mocked Baba Yusuf, calling him useless and pretending to imitate his slow walk. People laughed, but before the old man could speak, Hamza stepped in and demanded respect. Shabazz pushed him, ready for a fight, when suddenly the old man shouted, "Enough!" His voice silenced the entire crowd. Standing firm, he said that real strength wasn't in lifting weights, but in lifting people. Shabazz had no answer and walked away in shame. From that day on, the whole town began respecting the old man. One morning, Hamza didn't come to meet him. Worried Baba Yusuf rushed to his home faster than ever. He found Hamza crying because his business loan had been rejected again, leaving him feeling like a failure. The old man sat beside him and said life would break him many times, but each time he rose, he would become a man impossible to break. He took Hamza's hand and told him to walk with him. They walked for hours until they reached a cliff overlooking the town. There, Baba Yusuf said his final lesson. Everything he had lost once stood below them, but he was still standing, and Hamza would stand too. That day, Hamza cried. But for the first time, he cried with hope. Months passed, and Hamza restarted his business small, but honest. He worked hard, failed, succeeded, failed again, but kept walking, carrying the old man's lessons in his heart. One morning, he went to meet Baba Yusuf, but the old man didn't show up. He had passed away peacefully, a gentle smile on his face, and his wooden stick beside him. The entire town mourned him. Hamza picked up the old man's stick and whispered, "I will keep walking because you taught me how." From that day on, he became the man who lifted others, just as Baba Yusuf had lifted him. Legends don't die, they continue walking through the lives they touch.